So you're a machine learning engineer at TikTok right now, but you
Correct.
were not always a machine learning engineer. What was your story?
Around third year or fourth year of my undergrad, which is the time of like 2018, 2019, I saw like some Coursera videos of Jeff Hinton, of Andrew Ng, and introduction to neural networks and all that stuff. And I was like, damn, this is so interesting. Like you can mimic your human brain and you can make these like neural networks and you can do all this. I want to learn about it. So then I took very introductory courses during my undergrad. Luckily, like my university had that back in India. I built like some projects during those courses. One of my peers who had gone to NTU Singapore, Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, as a research assistant for 6 months. And then I was like, oh, this is also a great opportunity. Maybe I should also try. My GPA is good and there's this NTU India Connect fellowship that I should also apply for. I have some ML projects. I have like good grades. I have a good profile. I can target that. So then I got that. I was invited to Singapore. I spent my 6 months there, worked with a professor in the space of reinforcement learning and blockchain. So that was my final year thesis. And after that, I came to US directly for my master's and I took a bunch of ML courses. The main thing once you come to the US is you have to find internships. So I applied everywhere, eventually got into Amazon. And in Amazon, the weird thing is like they don't map you to a specific like ML team. They assigned me a web dev team, which was in the retail space and checkout in Amazon. So I had to do so much of like legacy code work and like do my entire internship in Java, JSP, which I had
Exactly same as what you dreamed of, right? Exactly same.
exactly same as what I had dreamed of. Then I was like, I need to get a full-time offer. And if I don't get the full-time offer, then I cannot like get any opportunity within Amazon. So I worked a lot during that 4 years of my internship and then eventually like got a full-time offer from Amazon. But the thing is like, if you get a full-time offer, you have to join that same team. So even during the time when I was signing my full-time offer, my mind was, I want to leave that team once I join. I signed that offer. I joined Amazon next year full-time. And I knew that within few months, I need to switch to an ML team. The best part about Amazon was that there's a lot of teams. It's like an internal job marketplace. Like it's an internal LinkedIn there and like hundreds of teams that are hiring. This was my first time also giving interviews for ML. Like I gave interviews at 6-7 teams, got offers from 3-4 teams, chose the team which I really liked and I liked the people there and liked the work there. So then I moved from my checkout team in retail to Prime Video in the forecasting space and moved to Austin. That was my like turning point where I was able to transition from software to ML early on in my career.
Do you tell your manager that you're interviewing outside or no?
No. So when you transition like internally, how it works is, especially in Amazon and like similar companies also, it's more like an informal reach out to a hiring manager. Like you will reach out, let's say like on Slack, I will DM 5-6 different managers. Hey, I'm interested in this position that I see on the job portal. I would love to learn more about it. So then you jump on a call with them if they are interested in your profile. And then you have that hiring manager chat initially. And then they arrange informal interviews, 3 to 4 rounds with engineers and ML engineers or applied scientists of their team. And based on that performance, they will have their internal, like as they have for an external person, they will have their like internal debrief. And based on that, they will be willing to extend me an offer. And then after that, I will officially apply for that online. Once they give me an informal yes. In a lot of companies, this process happens. Even in TikTok, this happens.
Was it like a common thing from people from your masters to get an Amazon internship, or were you like an outlier?
UMass Amherst is one of the top CS schools in the US. A lot of people had gotten into Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Facebook, and a lot of different companies. But it was also the peer pressure that you have to get that, right? And the thing with me was like I had no experience before that. I directly came after my bachelor's. And the people I was competing with for internship and other things as well were people who had 2 to 3 years of experience. I knew all that and I was very proactive in like reaching out to a lot of like recruiters, applying for a lot of companies and ensuring that I am doing all these things first and getting my step inside the door. Some of the interviews that I failed initially were due to because I did not have like any focus area. At that point, I was more of a generalist. Like I knew some knowledge. I had like projects in different domains. When they asked me like deeper questions, I did not know them. So then I realized that I need to pick one area and like go deeper into the model details, understand the trade-offs, understand different versions of different models in that domain, and then eventually like strengthen that area and then talk about it more confidently during the interviews. This was one of the the struggles that I had. Second was obviously that ML interviews are all over the place. Like you don't know what the interviewer is going to ask you. So it can be a design question end to end, or they will give you some scenario. Okay, what kind of model you would use in this scenario, or what kind of sampling technique you would use. And there is no resource out there through which you can prepare everything. This is the unfortunate truth about ML. I had to read a lot of resources, do that catch up. Okay, yes, this is also now getting asked in the interview. Now I need to prepare this. Okay, I failed here. Now I need to prepare this. So from trial and error, I was eventually able to land few roles. So these were the struggles that I had faced initially. And that is why the people that I mentor now, I give them a very structured plan and give them very dedicated resources through which they can prepare and become like more confident.
When you talk to your mentors, what are the themes that you hear today?
The main theme that I get from people is, what is the future of MLE jobs? Will MLE jobs exist? Like if AI is going to take over software jobs, I think they will also take over the MLE jobs. So that is the biggest theme that I hear, that will they spend like next 6 months in preparing for MLE, like machine learning and learning all that. And then their jobs will not even be there. And what I tell them is, you will never know like what is going to happen in the future. If you really want to get into ML, this is the time. This is the time you can be a machine learning engineer. This is the structure that you can follow to become a machine learning engineer. Maybe that structure will change 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, or maybe that job might not even exist 3 to 5 years down the line. But what you can do right now is this. And if you really want to do that, this is the time.
Is there any like really interesting story of someone who you've helped that had a perhaps unconventional journey, but then somehow ended up in the place that they really want to be?
Yeah, there are like some folks, let's say someone is just in web development and has no experience of ML. And some folks, let's say, who are like a data analyst and they are confused about if they want to like, let's say, become data scientists or they directly want to become an ML engineer. So they feel like ML engineer is too much of a stretch for them. It can be challenging, yes, but if you do like some basic things, which includes like strengthening your ML fundamentals, and you do your basic preparation for ML interviews, or you build 1 to 2 ML projects end to end and you showcase them, it is more likely that you can directly become an ML engineer. I was able to basically help 2 folks, one in the web dev space and one as a data analyst, land a MLE job directly. It requires a lot of effort. So it takes at least 6 months to 1 year in this case, very unconventional like profiles, but they can also become directly ML engineers instead of slowly transitioning their way for first, let's say, becoming a software engineer and then becoming an ML engineer from a web developer.
If everyone is chasing kind of like AI roles, how do you help them separate sort of like the real skills that they need versus kind of like the things that they might have heard on the internet or in some YouTube videos?
So there is a very big difference between real skills and also the skills required for the interview. So I give them this like ground truth. Let's say if someone is like software engineer and wants to become an ML engineer, the person will come to me and he will be like, hey, I want to like learn about scikit-learn library. I want to learn about TensorFlow. I want to learn about PyTorch very deeply and build 1 to 2 end-to-end projects, learn more about like maths in ML and all those things. So I'm like, if you want to do that, then the timeline for transition will be even longer. Like it would be like 1 year at least. But if you want to like focus on the job prep and if you want to like, let's say, become an ML engineer, like land those interviews. So there's a different skill for that. You are not getting asked like very deeper PyTorch questions or very deeper like TensorFlow questions, but you need to know the trade-offs between them. You need to know what the high level intuition is for majority of these things and understand where they can be used in the entire workflow. What are the trade-offs, and learn about Spark basic fundamentals instead of like diving deep into all these things, and just prepare from the interview perspective, which includes preparing specifically for ML fundamentals. There's set pattern for that in the case of supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and similarly for ML coding, ML design, and ML system design. You have to master like these components, and for majority of big tech companies as of now, the structure is pretty similar for ML interviews.
Are you seeing your mentees able to leverage AI tools during interviews?
So right now, like some companies are pushing towards that. Like let's say, for example, Meta recently said that they will be having a different kind of round where they will allow accessing LLMs during the interview. But I think that still hasn't rolled out. So I'm not sure if it is currently happening because the structure for Meta's MLE interviews are very straightforward and they do not allow any access to internet. For example, like a company like Reddit, they allow you to access is Google search, not like actually AI, but they allow you to like search all those things, and they will give you, let's say, a data set initially, and they will want you to do data processing on that, find some imbalance, do some normalization, then build a model, and then evaluate and then improve that model, all in that one interview. You will be sharing your screen, you will be having a live coding session with the interviewer, but I would say that honestly rarely happens in all the big tech companies, even at this point. It is still like very much traditional, but it takes time for all these, like especially big tech companies, to change their entire like interview process.
What is your biggest advice that you give to every person who's trying to break into the ML space?
I think right now the biggest advice is to stay patient. I see a lot of people like lose hope after like, let's say, giving few interviews and not getting selected. The unfortunate truth of 2025 and even 2026 will be that market is tough. There's a lot more people who want to get into ML. There's a lot more demand. And unfortunately, so the companies basically have this power over you that unless you clear all those rounds successfully, they are not going to hire you. If you perform bad even in one interview, right now the chances are more likely than not you will not be succeeding in that. And you don't have to lose hope on that front, because in the end, it's about the numbers game. You have to, let's say, target applying to 100 plus companies, try to get 10 plus tech screens, try to get 4 plus final loops, and then get at least one offer. So if you're targeting just one final loop, then that's not going to work for you. At least target 4 to 5 final loops, and then you will get one offer out of them.
Final advice you would give to people who are thinking about becoming a machine learning engineer?
Just don't be overwhelmed with the prep. Break it down. If you want to like discuss with me, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or if not, also you can simply think of the ML prep as like breaking down into ML fundamentals, ML design, ML system design, ML coding. These are the 4 main areas that you have to break down your prep into, and all the interviews kind of like fit all these puzzles only. Now that includes latest LLM, that also includes your project experiences, but it will fit these 4 main categories only. Don't get overwhelmed, take it component by component. Prepare through 1 to 2 resources for each component. Will you crack all the interviews? Obviously not. Will you crack some of them? Probably yes, if you follow this process. So just don't get overwhelmed.